Yes, guys, I'm Si. Welcome to Cardiff City World. Today we're breaking down 5 big things that we learned from Cardiff's loss to Bolton yesterday. A 1-0 defeat in the dying seconds. And look, I gotta be honest, right? A couple of things straight away. It's the first game away we've lost. And secondly, I thought Bolton were by far the best team we've played in terms of a defensive setup. I thought they were excellent. I didn't think either team particularly deserved to win, but if one team slightly edged it, I probably thought it was Bolton. And I thought Cardiff were a bit naive and stuff is particularly late in the game, but we'll get to it. As I say, the final score was Bolton 1, Cardiff City 0, and that tells a bit of a story, a fine margin. But it is one that doesn't mask, or does mask maybe, some clear warning signs for Cardiff that we've had over the last few games, and we're there again today, yesterday. So let's go through it. 5 things we learned. So, number 1, the tempo, still too slow. So right off the bat, the tempo was just very, like we flagged it before, too much sideways, backwards, even with Will Fish and Dylan Lawler back in the side. There wasn't enough going on off the ball. There wasn't enough moving the ball quickly off 2 touches. Do I think that personnel plays a part in that? I do. I think David Turnbull does slow us down a little bit, but you can't put it all on him. Obviously, Alex Robertson back in the side. I thought he did okay. He was energetic, etc. But he'll get better as he gets up to match fitness. But as the City had the bulk of the possession, again, 62% possession to Cardiff, 37 to Bolton, with a bit on either side. But on paper that looks good. But we didn't convert it into tempo. We didn't convert it into dynamic movement. We didn't convert it into chances. It was just too often slowly knocked around the midfield, the defenders, back to the keeper. And I don't mind going back to the keeper. I don't mind recycling the ball, that you have to do that to move teams around. But it only works if you move teams around, and you move teams around by doing it quickly. We didn't, so they just sat in place and became very difficult for us. They've allowed us to knock it about with the back because they don't care about that. They care if we switch to play to the wingers quickly or if we break lines. We just didn't do it. You've still got, we built through the phases okay at certain points when we did get a bit quicker, but, the tempo just dropped and we never really, there was never a period in that game where I felt like we really looked like scoring, the odd chance, but we never had sustained pressure. And the statistic which jumps out at you is Cardiff managed only 4 shots all game compared to Bolton's 17. Now that kind of ratio will alarm you, but that's been a common occurrence in recent games, teams getting off a lot of shots. Me personally, I think the short-term answer is you get Ryan Wintle back in there alongside Alex Robertson. The only thing I could think with Wintle is we are trying to find a way to rest him. We have to find a way to rest him, Ruben, Joe Bagan, but we need him at the moment because Turnbull's not doing it and Robertson's not match fit. Ruben had an off game yesterday as well, so that takes out 3 players really in terms of real high level stuff. But it's the concession of that amount of shots that's a problem. The pace of the transitions was slow. The distances between the lines was too big. The rhythm was steady but not quick enough. If we're serious about this season, we need to find that early season tempo, early season off the ball movement, and that early season form really quickly. Number 2, the final ball was dire. So when we did build up half time today, which we did at times, you go to the final third and it was absolutely shocking. And it was really frustrating because, we did get into some good places. We did beat the fullback. We did get round the sides. We did get to the edge of the box. And then we just either overplay or the final delivery is utter gash. It was rubbish. Now, whether that means the weight of the cross wasn't accurate, whether that means it hits the first man, whether that means it's just hit and hope and not picking out a man, whether it means the timing of the 1-2s and stuff are off. Sometimes just pull the trigger, whether that's a shot or a cross. The end product was too poor. It was dreadful. Despite having 62 possession, only 4 shot attempts, again, is really bad. Bolton's defending was disciplined, and I'll kind of get to that a little bit more later. Yeah, but We didn't really create many overloads. We didn't switch to play a lot. We didn't do anything really quickly to force chances, to create chances. To win games, you've got to get in behind. You've got to break lines of the opposition. Now, Bolton made it difficult, but the difference between a promising move and an out-and-out goal chance is huge. One better pass, one sharper run, one ruthless finish, whatever it is, City don't have it at the moment, or didn't have it yesterday for sure. Some of the build-up phases were okay, but when you're doing the same patterns all the time, teams learn in game, they switch on. Bolton just sat in and they made it very side to side for Cardiff, and they were comfortable for long parts of the game. Bolton were. You need a better end product, whether that means more precise passing, better off the ball movement is massive for me, and a bit of creativity. The final ball cannot constantly be the weak link, or we're going to struggle as the season goes on. Number 3, as usual, Ruben Cowwell gets the blame. Look, Ruben wasn't great yesterday, I would give you that. I didn't think he was great. Worked hard, but on the ball he gave it away too many times. Didn't really create anything. Wasn't able to beat his man, get away from his man. And it wasn't his best game, but you got to put that in asterisks to some degree. Like, he's still been one of Cardiff's most consistent players this season. He is almost always at the centre of, or in the build-up to what we do well. And in matches where we've got back into games or we have clicked, he's a key involvement. Key passes, movements between the lines, linking the play, driving on from midfield, whatever it may be. On Saturday, he didn't quite hit the level that we know he can. Now, I would say this. I think this is where the issue lies. We're very reliant on him being the link that's creating a spark. But what happens if something happens to him? Because he isn't at his best yesterday. He's very tired because he's playing every minute of every game constantly. He also does the most sprints off the ball in terms of pressing. We have to find a way to give him a rest. If that means he plays deeper alongside Robertson or alongside Wintle, and you put an Ashford or a Callum Robinson or a Kellyman in there in the 10, do that. If you can give him a rest on Tuesday, then he comes off the bench, do that. We need to find a way to keep him consistent. I think he's been pretty consistent this year, regardless of what people say. Social media is social media at the end of the day. People who actually watch the games properly, they know he's been good. Rotate him. Manage his minutes for the big games. Same as they're trying to do with Wintle now. They've got to find a way to keep him at high intensity. Same with Bagan, same with others who play a lot of minutes. In the Bolton game, it meant City were working good positions on the edge of the box, and then Ruben was trying to link up 1-2s. In my books, there was a couple where I was thinking, well, normally he'd shoot there, right or left foot. So I just wonder if there's a bit of mental fatigue, but it wasn't up to a standard, and he probably should have come off, but we didn't have a 10 to come on, which was weird. What's the takeaway from it? Well, for City to progress, they need the best version of Ruben Cowwell. To get the best Ruben Cowwell, you've got to keep him sharp, you've got to keep him fit, and you've got to keep him hungry as well. You need some other players to step up creatively as well. Not everything can go through or created by Ruben Cowwell. Reduce the pressure on him, reduce the immense sort of game time on him, and maybe we can get him a bit of pressure. But for the squad to look better, the better Ruben is, the better the team plays ultimately. So we need to get around him, we need to support him, and I mean that from a fan point of view and a team point of view. Number 4, Bolton were easily, and I mean easily, the best defensive team we've played this season. It's another big one, but Bolton's defensive display I thought was really, really impressive. I thought they were easily the best defensive side we played. And when you unpack it, they were physical, they were quick, and they were disciplined. They had it all. They remained compact. They didn't get pulled out of position. They didn't get sucked into pressing when they didn't need to. They just sat in their shape. And I don't mean they sat in a low block. They sat in their shape and waited for the right time to press. And when it mattered, they let us have the ball. And then they were a danger on the transition with their pace. They forced us to become predictable. They slowed the tempo, and then they allowed it, and then they pounced on the transition. In fact, the goal from Cozier Dubry in stoppage time was a big example of what Bolton do. They find some quality in the dying minutes, but that came from, in the minutes before that, injury time minutes now, 92nd minute, we get a free kick on the left wing. We should be loading up their box and putting it in their box, because that wastes time. There's only 2 minutes left, number one, and you might create a goal scoring opportunity with Will Fish and whoever's gone up. So that's that. We didn't. We gave the ball away, and then young Nayakawa's got it on the... Yeah, he wins it back, actually, with some really good sort of tenacious play, and he tries to play a crossfield ball to, I think it's Ruben, and look, with his right foot he probably makes that pass, but it's on his left foot and he doesn't. It gets cut out, but it's a crossfield ball, it's a risky ball, and I'm not blaming Nayakawa, he's a young player, etc. You learn from it, but it's a risky ball that leaves us exposed with literally a minute on the clock in injury time. They break down the right, and then we just don't close him down. We let him shoot, and he's already given us a warning a couple of minutes earlier when he's tested Trot with a shot just before that. Naive. And look, young players, we've said it all season, they're going to learn as they go along. Nayakawa will learn from yesterday. There was a couple of times he beat his fullback, and then his cross or his pass was poor. There was a couple of times where he tried to beat his fullback and he got physically sort of shrugged off and lost the ball. He will learn from that. It's a good experience for him, and I was happy to see him play. But he did some good and some not so good. But that's part of being a young player, part of learning. I do think we missed... I was surprised that we didn't see Joel Colwell in the second half. I thought his energy could have raised the tempo. I thought Callum Robinson should have come on earlier. But these are all, little decisions. Ultimately, there was a bit of naivety from Cardiff in injury time with some of their decision making, and it cost them, unfortunately. But let's round off on a positive one. Alex Robertson back in the starting 11. Now, I have been telling you for like the last couple of weeks that it was coming. But some people wanted the sensational, the headlines. Oh, he's never going to wear a Cardiff City shirt again. Blah blah blah. He wants to leave. He's going to Portsmouth. Well, whatever it is, right? And he still might leave. Who knows? But what I was telling you, and what I've told you since I started this channel, it is more important for me to be right than it is to create a headline. And I told you what I had been told by some exquisite sources, close to the player, close to the team, and they all said the same thing. He was back in, and I thought, considering he hadn't played for a long time, I thought he gave a solid account of himself. He barely gave the ball away. He had a general good energy, and his work rate was pretty good. In the first half, he won a few balls back, but the second half, as he tired, you could see that there was a bit of tired legs, and he didn't quite have the intensity to get back and kind of win the ball. But that'll come with fitness. I also think he would have benefited from maybe a Ryan Wintle next to him, but it is. Wasn't incredible, but it was decent, and I think he showed that if we can get him playing alongside some of the other midfielders who work quite quickly, that'll be good. He'll be a good addition, and he will be like a new signing. We know he can do it at this level. Give him a couple of games to get up to speed, and we'll be good. So, similar to Kellyman, but obviously Kellyman's been out for way, way longer, and you've got to be patient with him. He's starting to show glimpses and stuff, but it's good. But I think Alex Robertson back in the midfield is a positive. Where they're, sometimes at home, imagine we set up with the Colwell brothers and Robertson as a three. That's an attacking three. Maybe you go Ruben and Robertson with Ashford or Robbo or Kellyman in the 10. There's all these different combinations that you can use, which he gives a benefit to. But in my opinion, if we're smart for the next few games, we'll kind of just roll with Wintle in the 6, Robertson in the 8, and then Ruben in the 10. It's solid, it's experienced to a degree, and it's energetic. Robertson's return is obviously not the finished article as it is, but he already offers more than some others in the same role. And for that squad that is young, I mean, you guys know that we got a young squad. He is quite experienced. He's young. He's only 21, 22, but he's got an experience. He's played a season at League One before, played a season at the Championship, so he's got a bit more experience than Joel and some of the others. So that his presence, he will give the boys a boost for sure. Let's hope we can get him up to speed as soon as possible. But in conclusion, look, the final ball was terrible. Bolton defensively were very, very good. Naive decisions in injury time. Robertson's back gives a bit of hope to the midfield. We've got to wrap Ruben up in cotton wool a little bit and give him a rest, rotate him a little bit, look after him so he can keep up the intensity that he had at the start of the season. It's a big blow to lose your unbeaten away record, but look, given where we are in the league, I think you've just got to accept it sometimes. You're not going to win every game. Bolton defensively were excellent. They had a game plan. Stephen Schumacher's a very clever manager, and for the first time in probably 4 games, Barry Murphy wasn't able to influence the match during the game. Now, did he leave it too late? I think that's one we'll probably discuss on the breakdown tonight. But until then, thank you so much as always for joining me. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your support. Thank you to everyone who came to the Sean Morrison event. It was a great success, a great night, and really, really enjoyable. Sean was superb. I'm back tonight for a special edition of the breakdown. So tonight, I'm joined by Paul Abandonado. We're going to, of course, go into detail on the Bolton game, but we're also going to talk about that book there, Into the Dragon's Den by Paul Abandonado. And when I tell you there is some stories behind the scenes in Welsh football in that book, there is some stories. I'm looking forward to chatting to Paul. It's always a good time having a chat to him. He doesn't pull any punches, and I know he's a big fan of Ruben and the young players, so it'll be interesting what he made of yesterday, because as I said, Ruben wasn't at his best, and the team as a whole is going through a bit of a period at the moment where they're not quite able to get the consistency going, but we shall see. Thank you so much. Like, share, subscribe. That's the most important thing. It's free. Just hit subscribe, like the video, and then share it. WhatsApp, YouTube, whatever, just share it to your Cardiff City mates. Bluebirds content 7 days a week at the end of the day. And then the memberships that you guys are a part of, you guys make it possible for us to do 7 days a week content. And I've got a special competition starting very soon, which will be this. All you have to do to enter the competition or be considered for the competition is this. You have to be a member on the date the competition starts and a member on the 23rd of December. And when I say the prizes in this hamper are incredible, I mean incredible. And it's going to be all sorts of shit, but it's going to be amazing. So yeah, if you're a member when the competition launches tomorrow and you're a member on the 23rd of December, then you're in the competition. Thank you so much. Keep the faith. See you tonight, 8 o'clock for the breakdown. In a bit.